go on a dream quest and let the dream decide who should inherit from King Oberon. And they have brought their motley 4 advisors, and the motley has also decided to bring a spiritual advisor. And as you may have noticed, the screen is bigger. We have guest stars. Hooray! So let's just go around real quick and introduce ourselves. Let's start with Maven. Tell us a little bit about your character.
I'm Maven the Cat Puka. I'm small, feral, and incapable of telling the direct truth. It was my idea to bring along this hapless human priest into the dreaming. I've empowered him with my glamour, largely motivated by the fact that he attempted to save my soul, and as I have been failing to communicate to everyone, because as far as I'm concerned, he's the way of the future. So will I enlighten him with the true nature of God's earth, I also determine which of the princes can actually handle the reality there's going to be a lot of really imaginative, beautiful Christians running around in another 100 years.
Who knows?
Or not. You could completely screw the pooch, and this could turn into a complete debacle of the Inquisition.
Just maybe.
Harry, wanna introduce
Yes,
Euron?
I play Euron Blackwood, captain of the guard, who is now escorting Davith and Maelkar, much to his chagrin, on a dream quest. So nothing can go wrong there.
Okay, and for sheet number 1 on this trip, Tori, introduce us to Primrose.
Yeah, hi, I am Tori. I'm playing Primrose. She is a she that is kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place, trying to do her queen, who she's super loyal to and best friends with, the duty of taking care of both of her sons who kind of want to kill one another in one way or the next. So trying to flirt with the line and see what happens, because it seems like most people are for one over the other.
Okay, and last but not least of our regular players, welcome Rob, your second session, hooray! If you want to introduce us to Faemor, please.
Well, hello, my name is Faemor, and I am just a lovely little satyr that loves to drink my wine, and I love to drink everything else. If you have some wine, I bet you I'll drink it.
Thank you so much. Okay, now for our guest stars, featuring Jim Dealey portraying Davith. Want to say hi? Talk a little bit about.
Hello. Yes, I have been graciously invited by Rachel to bring Davith to life, and I, as Prince Davith, am a she, the legitimate son of Oberon and Titania, and all of a sudden the appearance of my half-brother has thrown the whole succession situation into question. So now we have to decide it by some means, and we all decided the dreaming was the best way to go with it. So let's find out. I believe I am all of 16, and not quite sure how all this is going to shake out, but I trust in my friends, whom I've known all my life, to guide me to the right way.
And Amanda will be playing our mysterious she in black Maelkar.
Yes, hello. I am Maelkar, the true heir to this crown. It is my duty and my burden and my privilege to rule, and the dreaming will know that. And soon, all of you will know that.
Awesome.
Love it.
And last but not least, the only human here, Mike, do you want to introduce us to Piran?
Hi there, yes. Piram is, I don't know if he's the luckiest person alive or the most unluckiest person alive at this point in his life. He is a human being. He's a member of the Order of Reason. He believes in the mission that they have to protect humanity from the monsters. And yet here he is among what would amount to be monsters in a world that he's never seen before, which is probably going to terrify him more than anything else. And will his true faith hold his heart together and maybe spread a little joy and reason to everybody else here? We'll see.
We will see. A brief note. I have been portraying these characters up till now, but with the importance of this dream quest, and because I don't really want to role play with myself all that much, I have invited these guest stars because we have not yet perfected Matrix brain dumping. Uh, I've got my interpretation of the characters. Our guest stars have theirs. Um, and you guys are the players, and so even if you do deviate, that's going to become the new canon because that's how role playing games work. So don't worry about screwing up or like I'll have to fix something because I will just use my complete control over this universe to retcon as necessary.
So don't manipulate the newbies, is what I just heard.
Oh no, more the newbies should not worry about playing it wrong because however they play it will be these characters going forward.
The dreaming makes alterations to all of our personalities.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. To catch everybody up, because Rob was also not here last time, it was a lot of negotiation because Davith took Mavin's advice to heart. Yes, I should ask the land, in this case, that being the dreaming, for a ruling. And everyone else sort of got on board with this idea like, yeah, let's have this decision taken out of our hands so we don't have to take responsibility for a decision that will make other people very unhappy.
But the dreaming will surely come to the right answer.
Of course. And then they went and they told Mailcar what they were going to do. Mailcar said, awesome, I'm coming too.
Of course.
So there was a little more negotiation about that. You guys set off from the near dreaming, coming into the gate of the deep dreaming. It was guarded by Selkies. You had to sort of plead your case. They eventually decided to let you through. You are in Merlin's cave. This is an actual place on the map. Somewhere there's a wizard sleeping here forever. And yes, you are at the boundary of the dreaming. And so right now, this looks like the land that you're used to, sort of the forests and the hills of Wales, but everything is brighter. The greens are more green and the blues are more blue. And in addition to squirrels and birds and foxes and that sort of wildlife, you have chimerical creatures, so dragonflies that are actual little tiny dragons flying around, or cats with wings, or little tiny pixies and brownies. And the land reacts with dream logic. And so, as creatures of the dreaming, because right now this is so powerful, you can spend glamour to create dream effects if you wish. So if you want for some reason for it to start snowing, if you want there to be a river, if you want there to be sort of any manifestation that makes sense, you can spend glamour to do this. You may not have this power in future seasons, but you can do it right now.
And using all our glamour now. I won't do that.
Is there a clear path ahead?
Yes, there is the little silver pathways. It is marked out very clearly.
Well then.
Rob, you're muted.
Haha, yes, sorry. I started speaking, and then all of a sudden text messages came floating upon me and saying, "You're muted. Unmute yourself." So Faemore wants to know, along this path, are there taverns and shops and places where we could get things and trinkets and good things of all?
If you want to spend a glamour, there will be one right there.
And we can only get our glamour back if we do something like to our legacy, right?
That's willpower.
Oh.
And willpower is sort of what it sounds like. It's you really want to succeed at something, you're going to give it that little extra bit of effort. Glamour is more how much magic you can cast, how much fairy magic you have access to. Glamour you harvest from people who have really strong feelings. So
I brought snacks.
Okay then.
So we can maybe get more glamour just because this priest is here.
yeah, inspire strong feeling in him.
Interesting. Gotcha. Because all right, I don't know if this is metagaming or not, but along our path, are we going to need to defend ourselves? Because in the last game, this is probably metagaming.
It is.
It is. Yeah, let me stop that. All right. So.
Well, so I will.
Because the reason why I asked though is because last game I was completely inebriated and I passed out from drinking. So I don't know where along this path we are. So I guess I would just ask along the game and progress to see what is the situation, and then because I have 5 glamour, and I'm thinking because of my nature as a satyr that I do want to cast use one of my glamour to cast some magic upon this this very road, so we can have some taverns because
Okay. So I will answer your question based on what all changelings know about the dreaming, and that it is a very beautiful place, and it is also very dangerous. So it is the sum total of everything that mortals dream of. So there's peace and there's beauty, but there's also nightmares. So you could run across a chimerical dragon or a wolf that's 8 feet tall that you always run from, and it's always almost catching you.
Okay.
This does not right now look like one of those dangerous places.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have any way to know if you might end up there later. You might not.
Might or might not.
Do we have the ability to use glamour at any time? So even like pre-combat, or if initiation, happens?
Yeah, yes. Up until I call for initiative rolls, you can use glamour whenever you want.
Cool.
Okay. And my last question, for me to cast, if I were to use one of my glamours, is it that my glamour could just summon taverns, and then I would have to use another glamour point to summon shops, or just that one glamour point could summon whatever my thought is upon that turn? Hello?
Uh-oh, she might be frozen.
You can spend
Yes.
one.
Oh, you're back.
Yeah, sorry. You can spend one glamour for a tavern, and it will be the archetypal 11th century Welsh tavern. And if you want to summon a market, that's going to be another point of glamour. You can obtain items in this place. They are chimerical items, which means they're not real. So if you try to take them back into the waking world, they will just vanish.
All right, fair enough. Then I'll choose not to use a glamour point at this time. All right, fair enough. Thank you for the explanation.
Okay. But I will say, because you thought about a tavern, there's one over there on a tall hill.
Oh, all I needed to do is look up.
So it appears in the distance. It's like 5 miles away. It's now part of the scenery.
Okay.
I say we've been traveling for quite some time. Is anyone exhausted?
I can keep going.
Yeah, you
I
won't.
don't think I'm talking to the troll.
You're one hell of a traveler. You've always going step by step, foot by foot. You're a hell of a man.
These
How tall is it?
dragonflies
How
take
tall?
money.
How tall is Euron anyway?
About 7.5 feet.
Yeah, that's
He's
yeah,
gigantic.
exactly.
He's
Yeah.
giant and he's never tired.
Yeah, think of like the mountain from Game of Thrones, and then add another like 6 inches on that.
Kind of figured. Never seen Game of Thrones. We'll wait until
Oh.
Martin finishes the book, which means I'll probably never see it.
Yeah.
Right?
I want to finish the story with the voices of the characters in my head, not the
Yeah.
voices.
So,
Right.
Yes.
so you've been asked, do we want to take a break? And
Yep.
how do you feel? You've been walking for maybe 3-4 hours by this point.
I'm so weak.
I am not fatigued, but if the others are, so be it.
All right then.
Do the others look tired? I'm guessing that's a perception thing. Perception, maybe empathy.
I
I'm
mean,
a kitty.
I'm
When
not
I get
gonna-
tired, I just climb on someone.
You're always climbing on someone or something. I guess that would just be you just looking at us and seeing if we're physically tired.
It's a
Yeah.
really good question.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what I was asking.
I mean, I'm not going to call for a roll for that. You guys can describe how your
Yeah.
characters look.
I don't think we're tired. I think I am observing that there's a building in the distance that we probably could go to if you would like.
I just woke up from my drunken stupor of wine, so I am as spry as a spring chimera. Oh, I have no wine.
Mabon is chasing dragonflies and giving the priest very helpful narration that is probably not true about what's going on about all God's creations.
Yeah, and
Hey.
so, Mike, Piran has been enchanted, so you see all of this.
I see
You
all
see,
this, no problem. Okay.
yeah, so you see their Fey means, you see everything.
Which means he actually sees us as we really are.
We're pretty.
We're pretty, yes. Pretty's the right word. When did you turn into a cat? I'm very confused. This is. I don't.
Did not God ask Adam to name all the animals?
But I am not Adam. And these are
But
not
you are
animals that
a
I've
child
seen.
of Adam.
But you're a cat now, and your friends. This. What did you feed me? I don't. Is this?
I
some
have
kind
fed
of-
you nothing. I have granted you a piece of the truth.
But this is not right.
Are you all right? I think you need some wine, sir.
I think you
That's
might be
exactly
right.
what he needs.
It sounds like we should make a stop at the tavern after all. Let us continue.
Hey, let's go.
Indeed.
I will
Right.
never say no to more wine. On we go.
I'm glad I could help.
So tell me, priest, when you were a child, what did you dream of?
What did I dream of when I was a child? It was so long ago, but I dreamed of many things. I loved running in the fields. That was always my favorite, and so I always dreamed I was running, not from something, but to something. And in real life, I ran to the Lord,
And he
just
ruined
guided
it.
me.
Now we're trying to run to the tavern. So, priest, bring your holiness upon thee, for it's time to drink to joy, who you worship, and to who this cat. Why are you climbing on things again?
Meow.
Every time with the climbing.
She's
Sure.
tired.
So
I
our
Help it. You've got the lovely soft fur I can get my claws into and climb up.
so are you guys going tavernward?
We are all going
Sure.
Yeah.
tavernward.
Okay.
Apparently so.
We are
Uh,
indeed.
The right way.
We have been shang tavered.
I don't. Do I have to Google that reference? I have no idea what that meant. Shang Tabard?
Shanghai.
Like Shanghai.
Ah,
or whatever.
Shazam. Gotcha. Okay, cool.
Prince Daffod, what
Um,
did you dream of when you were a child?
This is very much like the place that I dreamed of. Although a brighter sun and and the river was a darker color, so spend a point of glamour to make the river the right color matched up.
Sure.
All
ooh.
right. Yes, there we go. A much deeper shade. I think it resembles that drink that the satyr likes to have so much of. Maybe it is that drink the satyr likes so much of.
My ears perk up. What? You, did you mention a drink? What? What was that?
Yeah, so you look at the river water. You're not exactly sure what it is, but it definitely has a proof.
Those are some very drunk fish.
Ah, I
But
I see the water. Hmm.
how,
Well, as we say, bottoms up.
I
I
never
take
drink.
I pull out an empty chalice that is on my belt. I dip it into the water, and then I take a sip.
Yeah,
And
it's not beer, it's not wine, but it's alcoholic, and it's got this very enigmatic flavor.
I never
Ah,
drink wine. Fish fornicate in it.
Prince Malachar, when you were a boy, what did you dream of?
I dreamt of my family lost and to be regained. I dreamt of my destiny. I dreamt of all things which have been and will be. And what do you dream of, little cat?
Oh damn.
Mice?
Small dreams for a small creature.
Oh no, I'm gigantic. And it is never so that I dreamed of the sun expanding wide and bright until it faded into an ember.
Well spoken.
Okay. So
E.
you arrive at a tavern. It's a very modest two-story place. You can smell the aroma of cooking food outside. There's some signs outside, but they're written in strange languages. You don't know what they say.
Or do we? Does anyone want to spend glamour on this?
No.
I gave the state a river of wine.
I love how I'm like, anyone besides me?
Euron, you must have so much glamour.
All right, but I'm not spending it on reading a sign.
Okay, so the tavern door opens and you hear tavern noises. The clinking of silverware against plates, people talking, cooking sounds.
Okay, I I am going to. Yes, I am. I'm going to spend a glamour point,
Okay.
and I'm going to spend a glamour point so everyone knows how well renowned of a drinker and of a soothsayer of regaling poems and songs and sonnets that I am. And I can read everything and every sign that is on this tavern.
Okay. I did not think of a name for the tavern.
The Slumbering Man.
Because you're thinking nobody's gonna spend a glamour point on a stupid tavern name.
Yeah.
Dramatic
You have
drafting.
thought wrong.
Yeah, the Slumbering Man, and there's another sign that says no killing goblins.
Aw.
Ooh. Ah. What was the first sign?
I'm sorry?
What was the first sign?
The Slumbering Man.
The slumbering man.
Yes.
Ah, friends, welcome! We are now here at the slumbering man. The reason why they call it the slumbering man is because you drink so much.
Okay, yeah, so you walk in. This is a place where everybody knows your name.
Cheers.
Come in, come in, come in, come in. There's already
Cheers.
rounds of drinks here for me. I'm kind of a
I'm sorry?
Come on. I'm kind of a celebrity here. They already have
Okay.
drinks lined up for me. Come on and drink all on me, Favor. You love me, I love
All right. You're shown to a table large enough for everybody. You get a round of beer, bowls of stew, and fresh baked bread.
you.
Ewan, whose
Maven,
tavern is this?
this is the Slumbering Man.
Oh, I know that, but I wanted to know who Ewan thinks the tavern belongs to.
That I don't know. But you can simply ask anyone.
Someone else. Famor, for 1 second, allow another person to talk. Huron, I think, right? Huron?
Euron.
Huron.
Yes.
Huron? Who do you think owns this tavern?
I don't know. I suppose by your being in it, that would make it you.
Oh no, I haven't taken its smells yet.
All
Perhaps
right.
there's another cat here, perhaps not.
Well, for the sake of that cat, I hope you don't find it.
So you think this tavern is mine?
I suppose.
And not Prince David's or Prince Melikor's?
I guess not.
I would hardly claim such a place as this.
It isn't very.
It's not a part of the realm of Avalon.
No.
Is
Nope.
it not? But this is
That's a good
the
one,
place
indeed.
of which you dreamed. Is it not?
I don't remember this building. And I believe that the place that I dreamed of will be further down the road, and I'll look out the door and point towards a castle that looks very much like the Avalon of myth and legend. That's more like it. Perhaps we should go there next.
Prince Melikar? Who owns that castle?
Well, that remains to be seen, for surely that's what this quest is all about.
Okay, so is anybody not eating the tavern food?
I'm not eating the tavern food. I don't know if it contains onions.
I'm not. I should know better, but my stomach is way too nervous to eat anything or drink anything at this point.
Yeah, I'm not eating the tavern food.
Not at
Okay.
all.
Bread.
I ate
Who?
it.
It's
Who?
not
I ate
fancy
it.
enough.
So anyone who does eat the tavern food, you are refreshed and invigorated,
Ah!
and you may have a willpower that you can only spend here.
What can I spend the willpower on?
So if you want to resist an effect on you, you would spend a willpower to do that. If you are trying to do something like you really want to succeed on this roll, you can spend a willpower for an extra success.
Yeah, there's not really anything I want to do here.
Right, yeah, I mean, like, it might come up.
Yeah, if it comes up, yeah.
In
That's
the
good to
dreaming,
know.
in
Yeah,
the dreaming.
I just have everybody enjoying and relaxing. I wish people got some
Well,
food.
we did stop to refresh ourselves. Eating is part of refreshing ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So I did I made my plan and I got my wine and my beer, so I'm good. For right now, I'm not gonna use that willpower.
I imagine the food is quite good because it's the dreaming ideal of food. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any wait staff or personages of that sort here?
Yeah, there's a couple barmaids running around.
I would ask them to kindly compliment the chef on their diligent work preparing this most excellent meal.
Oh, yes, sir, right away. Thank you so much.
Huron, are you the
David,
captain of the guard in the
It's
castle?
actually good. Oh god.
If David created it with his mind, I suppose I would be.
If this is indeed the place of my dreaming, then yes, you are, as you always have been, and always will be.
Primrose actually, she's asking David, like,
Oh,
is this actually good? Is the food good?
oh, it is.
It looks
Right.
simple.
There is pleasure to be had in simple things.
Am I allowed to eat it now?
Yeah,
Can I eat it?
yes.
Okay. So I'm gonna eat
I
some.
I am going to go up to the priest and sit right next to the priest and hand the priest a goblet of wine and some of the meal that I was brought. Priest, have some of my food. It is so delicious, and all of this wine, it's so refreshing.
While
Have
I
some,
appreciate your gift, these do smell wonderfully. I must not partake right now. For someone has to hail the watchful eye while you all imbibe.
Well,
Aye,
I
that's
could
my
watch
job.
you. I could watch you with one of my eyes.
Okay. So yeah, you anyone who wants to eat can eat and can gain extra willpower. If you don't use it by the time you leave the dreaming, it will just evaporate. But you have it right now. And as you sort of finish up your meals and your drinks, you see the silver path leading off into a particular direction. It's not leading to the castle that Daveth talked about, but it is leading somewhere.
Okay.
Are we supposed to follow that?
Aye.
It seems to be present everywhere. Telling you where to go, or you telling it where to go? Is it a road? I don't understand.
Silver Trod takes us where we're intended to go. As to whether that's where we wish to go, well, that remains to be seen.
Does that
So-
mean that you're not intended to go to the castle that Prince David imagines?
Perhaps
Apparently
not. This is the dreaming. The
Surely
dreaming
if
has its own logic.
It's true.
Well,
Surely.
as much fun as the dreaming is, we can also just continue down the path to make sure we get this done.
Indeed.
Fine, I've only got 4 legs.
Before any of us leave, I take some of the food and some of the wine and drinks to go. I put it in a sack, one of my messenger sacks on me, so I do have food and drink to go. So if anyone does get sick or gets tired, I do have food to help you replenish yourself.
Yeah, they give you a couple loaves of bread, a wedge of cheese, and yeah, some clay bottles. Again, it's that river liquor. Who knows what it is?
At
Hey,
this
I'm the
point,
only one that drank it, so if anything happens to me first, you guys know to drink or not.
at this point, it's probably fair for me to top the poor priest up with another point of glamour so he doesn't accidentally fall out of reality and wake up pale and wan on a cold hillside.
No, I mean,
Probably
you
a good
don't need
call.
to spend. You don't need to
Okay,
spend
he's
glamour on
stuck
that.
in this problem and he's not off this ride until we're done.
Yeah, but by this, if it was in the waking world, maybe, but he's in the far dreaming with everybody. There's no escaping this.
Poor priest.
I mean, unless he starts praying, and then who knows what angel will answer.
Oh no.
Question.
But he's in the company of 3 people who are more beauteous than angels. His prayers
Indeed.
can be answered right
Yes.
here.
That is true. All these they are ridiculously attractive.
Question.
Yes.
Since
Hair like
since
women,
we
teeth
can-
like lions.
So right now, I want to perform this. I want to use one of my glamour points to manifest a wagon, a horse and wagon for us to travel in so we don't have to actually walk.
Sure. One appears.
There you
Does
go.
anyone have a dot of drive?
Drive.
Let me double check.
I have animal can.
I do.
but no
I have a
drive.
dot of drive.
Okay, you're the
What do you
wagon
think
driver.
servants are for?
Shazam!
Wonderful.
I
Our
have
drunk
the
driver.
ability
What
to
could
get
go
my-
wrong?
No, seriously. Oh yeah, yeah. I'm literally driving a horse with one hand, and I'm drinking wine with the other.
Okay,
So,
Spin to glamour for a DUI checkpoint?
I'm gonna say no because those don't exist in 11th century.
Awesome. I'll see you on
And to be fair, they ended up pulling over half the travelers because I imagine when the water's not safe to drink, you probably drive sloshed all the time.
Yes.
Agreed.
So the wagon manifests. Faymore is the only person who knows how to operate a wagon. And the rest of you are wondering if this is how you die.
Damn. All right, and I will, since I have an extra dot of willpower, I
Mhm.
will use this extra dot of willpower to convince the entire group to get into the wagon and come.
So willpower doesn't really work that way.
Oh, I'm
Oh,
willing
man.
to get into the wagon. Just
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
not
okay.
sure I'll be happy about it when we're rolling.
Yeah, so willpower is not necessarily about enforcing your will on others as much as it is about resisting when other people try to do that to you.
Gotcha. Okay, fair enough. Then.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Before we depart, I will thank the staff for their generous hospitality once more.
Yeah, they're bowing and curtsying and pleased by the compliment. So the did Primrose want to do something?
I want to ride in front on the with the driver
Okay.
because I feel like I should lead.
I'll stay in the back just to weigh down the carriage and to make sure that nobody falls off.
Indeed.
I
Okay.
suppose that leaves the rest of us somewhere in the middle.
I take the place immediately behind the driver.
Okay.
I suppose I'll take the place behind Lady Primrose.
I take the place on top of the priest's lap.
And the priest mutters a very small, quiet prayer to himself that they get there going safely.
So what's Maven's charisma and appearance?
She has appearance 3, charisma 2.
Okay, so that's in your lap right now.
Okay. And since she's a cat, it just absently just scratch the neck. It just it's an animal in your lap, and you know how to do that. It's ingrained in all of us.
Right. Okay.
Behind the left ear, priest.
Sure. So, and it should be noted, like this is not like the normal medieval wagon that you might be thinking of. It's being pulled by unicorns.
No heck. So do these unicorns, do they have the ability of flight, or do they have extra speed or extra strength?
Do you want them to fly?
Do I have to
You're the
spend a
one who
glass?
called
That would be a Pegasus.
I
Stay
mean,
on the path,
No,
Dorothy.
because it would be part of
It would
your
be part
initial
of the
glamour
lore.
spend. Yes.
Oh, so it would be part of my diamond. Cool. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Cool. They've got wings.
And now I'm more frightened than I thought I was.
Okay, so this wagon pulled by alicorns, it goes into a forest, and it's a very dense, dark forest. It's the place where people walk through, and they start to get nervous, wondering, will I ever be able to find my way home again? And you sort of feel a little bit of that anxiety. And then you also feel a little bit of, oh, wait, no, but I am home. So you're experiencing the feelings that people have when they're in woods like these. And eventually, the woods open up into a clearing. And you see a series of tremendous standing stones. This is what Stonehenge looked like 1,000 years ago when the Druids first stacked one rock on top of another. So, and Stonehenge being big rocks in a circle, and then smaller rocks in an inner circle. And there's a path leading into the center. And what you see in the path are 4 robed figures. And anyone who has any sort of, let's say, kenning or academics, anything that would let you understand history. And Mike, you don't have a sheet, but I'll give this to Paran as well.
I have 1 point of academics.
I have 2 academics.
These are pre-Christian druids.
All right.
And there's 4 of them, and they're standing in a line, one next to each other, and it looks like they're waiting for you.
Don't like that.
Curiosity law, no sense of personal space. Getting up in there.
And the silver path does lead to these 4 figures.
I get out of the wagon.
Then we will dismount the wagon, or at least I will.
Yes.
And we will walk up to the.
Yeah.
At least I'll walk up.
I'll
the
make
street.
sure to nudge in front of
Indeed.
Mailcar. Just put myself between him and Davith.
Okay.
I
Sort of.
am staying in the wagon with my hands still on the reins in case we need to make a hasty retreat.
Okay.
I'm also gone. I'll be standing next to Malachar.
Okay.
I offer the lady my arm.
And I will take it.
Okay. So, as you walk towards the center of where these standing stones are and where these druids are waiting for you, you see almost this tornado of shadows sort of start spinning around. And they're all discrete little black shadows shaped like feathers. And so they spin together closer and closer and coalesce into a woman. And if you were able to recognize the figures as pre-Christian druids, you now recognize the Morrigan.
Oh.
So if we don't know what that is.
So
What?
she's basically a crow goddess. She's a Celtic crow goddess. Technically of death, but sort of death as a transition.
All right.
So if I knew of the Raven Queen, she'd be similar.
Yes, the Raven Queen is taken from the Morrigan.
Cool. Connecting the dots.
Yes.
Mistletoe, what do you know? Holly prickles, 4 have sickles.
She says, "Welcome. I've been waiting for you."
Who are you bringing death to today?
That remains to be seen. Certainly, I imagine all of you will be changed by this. My prince, my prince.
No, I didn't. Slight bow at the waist.
I also bow.
So tell
My
me,
lady.
what brings you here? I'm sorry. So she says, "So tell me, what brings you here?"
We are
And
here
you-
to settle a question of future inheritance.
Yeah, so you get the feeling that she knows exactly why you're here, but she wants to hear your reason.
We are here to settle a question of future and of the rightful place of the sons of Titania.
We have agreed to allow the dreaming to decide what otherwise would be grounds for war.
Are you sure? I like war.
It has its place.
It does. But I suppose my children will feast a different day. Do you both swear to abide by the choices and decisions made here today?
I do.
I swear it by the darkness that devours all things.
I swear it by the light of my mother's crown.
I do hope neither of you are ever forsworn.
That is not my destiny.
That is not my will.
A series of tests. 4. Let the first one begin. And all of you are back in Cara Travana.
Oh shit. Okay.
You know that you're still in the dreaming. This is a dream rendition of Cara Travana. And as you look around at the small folk, at the peasantry, you realize no one is working. It's midday. Everyone should be busy cooking, training in the yard. Yes?
What is Caravana?
That's the castle.
Where you walk
Gotcha.
to the
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay.
At first you think everybody's just lazy, but then you look closer. No, they're not lazy, they're starving. They are incredibly skinny. You can see joints popping out from under the skin. There is no food here. And so, I'm sorry?
I'm saying this is horrible. Horrible.
What famine grips this place?
And
We've
so,
never...
for both Davith and Mailcar, someone who you recognize as your steward comes up to each of you. And as they speak, they don't really acknowledge the presence of the other one. So when Davith, when your steward speaks to you, he completely ignores Mailcar and vice versa.
Right.
He says, my lord, how shall the remaining stores be distributed?
How much of the stores remain?
So, you both learned that an early frost just completely ruined the harvest. And so maybe there is enough for everyone. If you got rid of like 10% of the people, you know, the beggars, the criminals, the people who are too old to work, there definitely will be enough for everyone.
So, okay, question. Which trait is a factors in magic and craft?
That would either be Grimory or Kenning.
Okay, no kenning here, and grim. Okay, damn it, I have one. Because my idea was to try, because I do have wine and I do have some loaves of bread with me. If I could use some of my my talent in magic and crafting to create an abundance of that to cover those people instead of trying to eliminate 10% of the people.
I think Primrose would go and grab and be like, this is not your challenge.
Yep.
You have chimerical bread and cheese. It will not feed people who are actually starving.
But I also will
for an hour though.
I will tell him, I will say it is not his challenge and give him like the side eye of like
I mean,
I will prod the priest and I will ask the priest, this is your place to advise and counsel the two princes in what they should do, as you would as the fifth one in the line.
Well, my two princes, the people are who you govern, who you care for. What choice would a true leader make in regards to their people? Would they sacrifice them to keep themselves alive? Would they do their best to heal everybody that they can? It is definitely a dilemma, but you have to learn and you have to speak with your heart to your people because they will follow a leader who has heart. They don't follow people who are cruel.
By all means, young prince, after you.
Can one weigh any wife against any other and judge it wasted or of less value? No, none shall be sacrificed by my will. But I would ask that is there not a way we can ration it carefully such that all can carry the burden, perhaps all eat a little lighter, that we might feed everyone until the next harvest? Is that possible?
But your steward says, if we tighten our belts, but there will still be sickness. The children, the old, I don't know how many of them will make it.
Can we not seek any additional food sources? Can we make no trade? Can we make no import of goods?
Oh, aye,
So
we could send merchants to trade if you want to trade away the treasures of the castle. And at this point, I want to bring up a detail last week, which I totally forgot to tell Mailcar's player. You are wearing a jeweled brooch that was given to you by your mother.
So noted. Thank you.
Protect him, right?
Yes.
And no one else knows of what was said or done to get that.
Nope.
Except me.
Except you.
Is there something that I should know more about this privately?
It was that your mother sent you a message pretty much saying, I don't know if, I don't know if I'm allowed to ask for forgiveness for what I did to you by abandoning you, but you're still my son and I still don't want to see you hurt. Here's something that will protect you.
I see.
Yes, and it's just an enchanted piece of jewelry.
Gotcha. Thank you.
And I spent some points to make sure that you couldn't tell I read that.
Yeah.
It wasn't even a good thing.
As far as you know, the letter came to you with the wax seal perfectly intact.
Understood.
Was that in the last game or 2 games ago?
Last game.
Last game, okay.
Well, I would not wish to tell my people that I am not doing all that I can to seize the benefit of all. If it is within our power, we cannot eat gold. So perhaps we trade some. Send forth the merchants, and I will tell the people that we are bartering for more that we may survive better. So I must ask everyone to share in the burdens caused by this little fraud.
Yes, but my lord, the only things we have left of value are the crown jewels.
We cannot eat gold, so we must part. We can forge them anew in a better day and a brighter time, but the kingdom must survive till then.
So I'm sorry, my internet cut out. Are you saying sell them?
Yes, he said, we can melt them down and sell them for their value now. The kingdom will survive until a brighter day when we can forge them anew in a greater prosperity. We will plan and prevent such harvests in the future. We shall store more grain, and we shall prepare ourselves for ill fortune when it comes. But in the short term, we must have bread to feed people.
And so the steward bows and says, "Very well, sir," and he scurries off to go implement your will. So to Mailcar.
To my steward, I look over at the assembled crowd, pan over slowly so it appears that I'm meeting every single gaze there. Look back at the steward. Bring in all who are too old, too young, too weak, too ill. Bring them all into the castle where they can be protected. The stores will go primarily to those who are strong so that they may then go forward to hunt, to gather more food. I myself will lead these hunting parties, for I will not ask others to be in danger when I do not share that danger. As for trade, steward, you are the one most capable of choosing who our best merchants and traders are. Arrange trading parties.
And you get the same response. The only thing we have left of value is the crown jewels.
Crowns mean nothing. True sovereignty, true royalty resides in the person, not in any piece of metal. A king is a king with or without a crown.
Of course, my lord. And
Oh, sure.
he scurries off to implement your will. And at this point, the scene shifts again. You are back in the Circle of Stones. And the Morrigan is there, and one of the druids now stands apart from the others. And so Morrigan, how curious. You both chose to sacrifice the symbol of your sovereignty.
Symbols are less important than truth.
Oh, but we are in the dreaming where symbols are truth.
Then is there truly a sacrifice?
What is there a king without a crown?
What is there a crown without a king?
Clever. What about you, brave companions? Do you have insight? Judgment?
I'm proud
am
of
a-
Davith. He did
I'm
well.
sorry?
I'm proud of Davith. He did well.
Are you not proud of his brother?
He's a bit of a prick, isn't he?
If
He
not
made it.
claimed otherwise.
I am a cat. When times become ill and complicated, I take my kittens back within my body before they're birthed, or eat them before they're weaned. Sometimes sacrifices are made in the lean times. We cats live in our colonies, bringing food amongst each other, caring for the most weak, but we must go out and hunt. For such, I favor Prince Malachor in his decision.
I don't personally enjoy the fact that both of them gave up their sovereign. Being she, it was unlike what I would think you would have done, but I guess there is some honor in not wanting to harm the weakest of the bunch.
Just like my wine. That's all.
What about our unexpected passenger? What does your dead god have to say?
My God lives within me, so they will never be dead. But a true leader, sovereignty is not measured by the beauty of the gems or the gold and the crown. It's a crown of dignity, and it is bejeweled by those who love you that you govern. And so choosing to sacrifice worldly goods in the name of your kingdom and your people, that is always the best thing to do.
Ruled by love. What a strange idea. Let's hope you and yours can sustain that.
I do.
Okay. And so the scene shifts again. You are again back in Cara Travana.
Oh.
It's the same, where the work that you would expect to be happening has stopped. And the reason it has stopped is now not because of famine, but it is because of sickness. And so you can see there are people not working because they're too busy coughing. You can see on the other side of the castle wall, there's a wagon full of people about to be put in a mass grave because there's nothing else that can be done for them. And again, stewards come up to you and they say, Sire, there are people wanting to come in seeking shelter. What should we do?
I went first last time, brother. Perhaps you.
You learn quickly.
I whisper to the troll, you may advise your champion, and aid him. I don't know anyone stouter of oak than you.
Well, in this case, I recommend we quarantine the infected. I'm no expert on dealing with disease, but there's not much we can do now. Other than prevent future harm.
With my investigative and academics, am I able to discover anything?
So what sort of information are you looking for in particular?
If there is a clear sign of what the sickness actually looks like.
Oh, it's the Black Death.
Perfect.
Oh.
Which is the worst of them, but we don't know that yet.
Not in 1100.
Yeah.
In character, I laugh at Euron's reaction, by the way. He heard Black Death and he was like, oh?
So we don't really know what the Black Death is, though.
No, you do. You do. Yeah.
It's bad news.
Yeah.
I'm gonna nudge Davith and say, this disease isn't anything to be played with. You need to act fast and harsh.
I think I would also, since Malachar is going first, if I have the time to say so, I'd say, I guess you should actually use the fact that you're unseelie.
Oh, I intend to, my lady. To begin with, I choose to unleash the powers of soothsay so that everyone will be able to see what I see.
Okay.
And I cry aloud to the dreaming as a whole. Show us who here is ill and who here can still be saved.
Okay. So
I dig it.
So you'll have to spend a glamour for that.
Yep.
But it's really cool, so I'm not going to make you roll. Okay, so what happens is that dark clouds manifest around each person. Because of the source of the Black Death, they're almost like clouds of fleas. Or just grime or miasma. And it's difficult to say for certain because the dreaming isn't going to give you this person will live, this person will not. Instead, it's a gradient. So you see a couple people with very dark, dense clouds, and they're obviously not doing well, and you know that person is going to die.
Mm-hmm.
and you see a couple people who are like they're up, they're walking around, they only have a few specks whirling around them, and you can tell, okay, they're probably going to live. But there are a lot of people who are in the middle of the road. And so with the Black Death, you can tell, okay, about 30% of the people here are going to die. But with proper medical attention, so you can push that number up by taking like stupid choices. Like if the water gets poisoned, more people will die, obviously.
Right.
If you can provide proper medical care, you can bring that number down. The big thing to notice is that the sickness is already inside the castle.
Oh dear.
So whether the people who want to come inside are infected or not, it almost doesn't matter.
Indeed. Very well then. In a time of extreme sickness, harsh choices must be made, but no one can ask another to do what they will not themselves do. And I personally take out my sword and I kill every last one of them who is likely to die. The
Okay.
ones that are potentially that are likely to survive, I give them food and put them out of the castle.
Those are Martin does.
Whoa.
Okay.
Behind the troll right now.
I just like
I'm chilling on the side with my vial of medicine, and I put it back in my pocket. I'm just staying quiet.
Yeah, Euron's hand is resting on his sword. He's not happy about this.
This is
Well,
harsh.
I'm sure they'll be put back by the dreaming for Prince David to make his choice. Do we need another cart? That's a lot of dead people.
This is in its own way mercy. The Black Death kills slowly and painfully. The families suffer, the victims suffer. Now they are no longer suffering.
But do you not take hope from those families that their friends might survive? Sometimes, in times of sickness and pain and misery, hope is all they can have.
The
You take that away
survivors,
from them. They want their family to live. They want their family to be better. They want them to be there. To see you murder them in front of them, that is cruel. How can someone want to live or follow a leader that treats their people as something to be destroyed?
to speed the deaths of ones who are already dying is, as I said, mercy. My faith is not yours.
I think I would inquire, Malachar, is there anything you're doing for the families of the deceased that you have killed?
Of course.
I mean, there's a lot more living space now. Everybody
Indeed.
can have a very nice house.
Yeah, oh, that's just wrong.
The survivors will be cared for. Those who have lost their means of support, a new means of support will be found. As I said, I am in my own way merciful.
Next.
Okay, so sort of with dream logic, the people who Mailcar aren't necessarily returned to life, but they're still there. They've always been there. Sort of the dark clouds that he called upon, they dissipate. But you do remember who had what indication. Now, so one important question, Amanda.
Yes.
Did you err on the side of caution or mercy? So if you saw someone who was like, 55% chance they might die, 45% chance they might die, Yeah, was it 55 or 45?
They were put outside the walls with ample food supplies and shelter.
Okay.
Basically given a chance, but not allowed to infect others.
Okay.
My purpose here is to protect the living.
Yeah, I have 2 medicine. I can make some help them. Now they're outside the walls. They're gonna die anyway.
Is
You're
that
welcome
a
to minister
conversation
to them.
have with Prince Daffod if you advise him on what to do?
Yeah, so the steward is before Prince David asking, what should we do, sire?
Actually, I wanted to work a similar magic to what the Malcor did, and I had that thought before Malcor did, but it's not going to make it a look at it. Because I looked at the Omen thing too, and I'm thinking, how do I do that? Okay, so now you asked for a part of the future. I'll ask for a different part. And I'll reach out to the dreaming and spend whatever glamour is necessary, and I will call upon the dreaming, show me the source of this plague, that I might stop its further progress before I make the decision of who will live and who will die. Show me how my people have come to bear this sickness.
Okay. So, at the place. I'm sorry?
No, nothing.
Okay. So at the place that is part of the source of this sickness, a light forms, and it starts to get bigger and bigger and glow brighter and brighter. And you don't see it until it's bright enough to be shining out of the windows, and you see, oh, it's coming from the storehouses where we keep all the food.
Fantastic. So what? I'm going to investigate the storehouse. What is glowing in the storehouse? Is it the food itself, or is it something else?
Okay. Go ahead and give me a perception plus investigation.
Are we allowed to assist him on any of this?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
because
I know out of character what he's going to find, and I'm assuming my character has some logic here because this is specifically her area.
Yep.
Right.
I would like to assist him
Yes.
as well.
Mabin, I give this one to you. Rats spread disease, and they like to hang out in the storehouse.
Yes, stick the kitty on it.
Point when you would be seeing me getting into my area, which would be to use my dragon's ire to fight whatever the heck that is, because that's my territory and I can't not defend it.
Okay.
So
who got what on perception investigation?
I was going to ask, my character doesn't have any dots in investigation, and that's a knowledge check. Do we still have the no checks on knowledges without having dots in them rule?
No, because this isn't vampire. Just roll raw perception.
Okay.
So
and what was the difficulty?
6.
Okay, I have 2.
Okay.
I have 2 on investigation, 2 on intelligence.
Yeah, what?
Actually, no, I'm sorry, I'm perception. I'm not roll right now.
No, can we help him, you said, or?
Yes, so everyone can make your own investigation perception roll to notice what he's hoping to notice.
And Daffod is going to specifically say to everyone, please help me find the source of this sickness that we may drive it out.
As is normal, the Onyx Dice app is fucking ridiculous, and that is 6 successes.
I've got a Sherlock Holmes.
I hate Harry because I get 1 every time, and he gets amazing rolls. So give me some of your luck.
No, it's all mine.
All right, from my die, I got 2 6s, a 9, and a 5.
That is 3 successes.
May I make a request?
Yes.
May I make a request? Since I got an auto success on this and I can influence the dreaming, I'd like to spend a point of my glamour to summon a more physical manifestation of the horror that is the rats infesting the place, perhaps a rat king to do battle with, because I feel trying to explain it might be a little less compelling than from my character's perspective, slash, stab, grab, kill. A rat
Sure.
king in this case may be a morass of rats tied together by the tails.
Yes.
Wow.
So you come into the storehouse. Mavin already knows the answer, and so when you walk into the place where, like, the flour and the oil and everything that everyone relies on to survive, you see that the glow is not coming from the food, but there is this tremendous rat king, which is this big ball of rats, tied, yeah, like Panda said, tied together by the tail, and it's writhing and it's moving, and it's just this big bundle of like tails and eyes, beady eyes and whiskers.
Is there
And
any way before an initiative or?
We are not calling initiative yet.
Okay.
But
wait until you're done.
You do see hints of Maelkar's earlier use of Soothsay in that the little sickness bubbles, the little sickness cloud, is roiling around the Rat King. And you do see, like, one of them reaches out a little clawed paw and tears a sack of flour open, and it just spills onto the ground.
I would like to spend glamour. And
yes,
remember when you were talking about how great that giant wolf would be? I think I will make the wolf that's always been with me, which I didn't tell anyone about. Sorry. I've had a wolf. I've always had a wolf, by the way. It's been with me.
Great.
We just forgot to tell you guys, so I felt bad about that.
I mean, if you are...
Yep, we got a frozen.
Okay, so you can have your wolf with you.
Yeah, right. My wolf was with me, right?
Yeah, you have your wolf with you.
I want to make that wolf into that crazy giant awesome wolf that we talked about that we'd be afraid of.
You would need a glamour for that.
Yes, I will spend a glamour to make my wolf into like a horsey wolf.
Okay.
Ride it into battle, apparently.
I mean, it might go by itself, but cool.
Okay, David, looked like you wanted to say something.
I did. This is the source of the ill plaguing my kingdom. Let us drive it out together, my friend. Unsheath the sword. Let's get it.
Shing.
Well,
time to chop some rats.
I have my mug. I have my sword.
Far be it from me to stand aside.
So, can I? Because I have literally some ridiculous athleticism. I want to go and jump and kick the rat monster in the head to stun it, so we can have a better shot at everybody else attacking it. And because I have physical prowess, I can't botch athletics.
That's
so
true.
This is literally me jumping, drop kicking him in the face, into both eyes, blinding it, stunning it, so we have a better chance at attacking it. Especially the she with that man or that wolf horse thing, we got chances. So, drop kick.
Okay, so because this is a test in the dreaming and it is a dream quest, I'm not going to get super finicky with die rolls. Your intent is to destroy it.
Yes.
And so,
in general,
yeah, so Feymore kicks it in the head, and Euron brings out his giant fuck-off sword and just eviscerates the rats. Maybe does what she does really well and just claws the fuck out of them. Daveth is leading the charge. Primrose is, I don't know what Primrose is doing, just like...
Sick him.
Yes, so the wolf jumps into the fray. The priest is probably like, I don't know what...
I'm hiding. I am hiding. No.
Okay. And so you eradicate the rat problem.
I use the same sword that I used to kill the villagers.
Mabin.
Ow!
My friend, the cat. Summon all your friends and discourage our kingdom of any further infestation.
Well, I don't know what capacity I have for that. I would ask Primrose to help you. She's better at finding animals. I can only bring them out when I'm in heat.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm pretty good
And I
with
promise you I won't fight them all, just this once when they come into my territory. Or you can just leave me for 2 years and I can fill this place with cats.
that's funny.
So, with the source of the problem eradicated so we don't have any further infestation, my orders are that we will separate and quarantine those who are already infected. And we will not allow them to come into contact with the healthy population. But they will be treated. We will save as many as we can. They'll be treated with medicine and with what spare food we can spare. Save as many lives as possible. Anyone else who becomes further infected also gets quarantined until this sickness passes. Those who are healthy will unfortunately have to carry heavier burdens for the time being, but we must all work together to survive. So once again, and the travelers who come in, since they don't bring plague, we know that. We've learned that they don't bring plague, and those who are already infected will join those who are sick. Those who are not infected will be asked to come share the burden of those who are healthy.
Okay.
Together, we will survive this crisis.
Okay. Not everyone will survive.
Nope.
But
they will not die by my hand.
that's true. They will not.
They will. Those who die will have died because knowing that I did everything I could to save them.
Those who die will suffer beforehand.
So
be it.
You have reduced the incidence of animal to human transmission, and you've cleaned up the food stores. So when you reduce that, and when it becomes only human to human, and when you quarantine the sick, slightly more people make it through than in Mailcar's situation.
But will the Raven Queen-ish person like that?
Well, now you are in the circle of standing stones again, and there is the Raven Queen. Interesting choices made in the face of death. You both brought death, but in interesting ways. Do you feel like your choices were correct?
I do. Death is not in my hand. It can be delivered by them. But given the choice, I will choose to give life rather than death.
I wonder what the rats would say.
There must be balance of life and death. A king must be willing to deal both.
Very, very true. What do your advisors think?
My people swore an oath when we first came to join the others. An oath to protect, an oath to hunt and kill. A true leader knows to take of their people the skills that they've offered, the fealty that they've offered. For the warm hearth you gave us, for the care for the children we have that you gave us, we cleanse your stores. And
well
for that,
spoken, little cat.
I must select Prince Davith. Furthermore, to not find the source will be the death of my kind in the future. You will see us as a symbol of the devil and put us to the sword when it is the rats within your homes bringing the death.
So noted.
Well, there's only one person here who believes in the devil.
And
Y'all speak upon this?
I don't have much to say. Again, I'm proud of David. I think he's doing a good job. I think he'll be an excellent leader.
I do.
I'm good. I'm good either way.
Yeah. I feel like I thought you would like Melikar's way. I
This
personally,
Vader hedges his bets.
I have to say that killing in front of all is a sign of weakness and could lose your overall power among the people. And as a she, I don't advise ever attempting to lower your nobility and lose your power over others.
To kill in
I
secret.
see Davith like,
To kill in secret would invite more rumor, more discussion.
Aye, then perhaps you shouldn't kill.
You of all people would say that.
Aye.
Captain of the guard.
Prince Malikar, remember in your next challenges, as we are your advisors, you may also command us to your aid. Though I can't speak to my noble and loyal trollish companion, I do know him to be a good troll, and thus advice will never be a lie.
These things will be kept in mind.
Iron, what are your thoughts?
Huron?
Pirin, I think.
Yes.
Aaron.
I was going to say that a king knows how to use their resources and uses them properly. A king who strikes out on their own lonesome strikes with fear and creates their own fear among the populace. Killing those people is never the best choice when you can save them. When there's no one left to remember you, what kind of king were you thought to have been?
A king is always alone, even in the midst of counselors, even in the midst of family. That is part of what it is to be a king. Prince David needs to understand that and understand it now.
No one is ever alone, Prince.
Christ.
No one is ever alone. Not a king, not a peasant, not a priest, not a prince. Remember that.
Your Christ is not mine, priest.
I
You don't
feel
have
sad
to
for you, Malkar.
You don't have to claim him for him to be there for you. You would be surprised. Why am I here?
I believe you can blame the cat.
Yep.
I do not blame her for anything. I see why I'm here. And I fear for your soul. I do. And I
Okay.
hope you can
I
make
do
choices.
So with that, the Morgan retreats and she goes and she speaks to the druids, and they divide 2 on one side and 2 on another. And she comes back and she says, "We cannot decide. Choices were made, consequences accepted. We have only one choice left. You say that conflict will happen if you are both allowed to return with this question unsettled?"
As to that, I did have a consideration that I wish to offer Prince David.
I am listening.
You are young. Many would say too young. I have no heirs of the body. I propose to make you my heir until such time as I have children of my own. This will give you more time to learn, more time to be seasoned, more time to grow.
Time for you to die.
It's an interesting offer, but no doubt you would quickly see to producing heirs of the body. I would become displaced entirely in your line. And well, you might well see me murdered as a threat to your power. All of
To
these
have
things.
Well, if you wish to live with a knife at each other's throats in perpetuity, we will not stop you. We instead offer an alternative. One of you stays here with me. The other one goes forth into the world of mortals with the Aegis of the air.
Ooh. After thinking about my choices,
Oh, no. You can stay or go as you wish, young satyr. This choice is for the princess.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
I choose to back up Prince Malachar. Prince Malachar has the outright direction of where we need to go, what we need to see. Everyone here lives in a fantasy world, but Prince Malachar actually sees what needs to be done. So I side with Malachar and say Malachar needs to come.
I'm glad you said that, and that illustrates the problem. There is not unity among you. For this young troll, with the same energy, the same dedication, he backs Prince Deveth.
Oh,
Therefore,
guided.
should we let both of you go, we understand there will be war. And while this is a choice that I am perfectly happy with, I understand it's the outcome you wish to avoid.
It would weaken the kingdom. I think that we can agree that that is to be avoided.
Rachel, I have a question.
Yes.
So one of them has to stay.
Yes.
In the dreaming.
Yes.
How do we feel about that as she? Like, isn't the dreaming not that bad of a place?
No, it's not. It is totally not. It does mean giving up any right to rule in the mortal realm.
Excellent. And we kind of all know that, or?
Yeah, and I mean, she's also a pretty good sorceress, so, spending 1,000 years learning magic from the Morrigan isn't a bad deal.
No, it's not, particularly considering who knows what'll happen after 1,000 years.
Right.
I was like, but so, is it up to them too?
I'm sorry?
Is it up to them too? They get to decide who stays, who goes?
You guys can decide however you want. You can put it up to a vote. You can fight it out. You can get into a rap battle.
But it's only they're only the choices to be on the ballot to stay, or can anybody in the party?
No,
yeah,
it would have to be one of the two of us.
One of them.
Yes.
Got
I think Mailcar.
One of the two.
It could be both of us.
Then
it could be both of you.
Then the kingdom
I plan
has no
all
heir.
along.
Somehow I suspect that Lady Primrose would be convincible to step into that role, should such a thing become necessary.
Sexy. I could be king.
As the satyr says.
Guess not. I'm just gonna drink my wine. Okay.
I think Primrose will go over. She's always kind of been closer to the Malachar side. She'll tap the brooch on his chest, kiss the side of his cheek, walk up to Morgana, or is that Morgana? Correct?
Morgan.
And say, I believe that Malachar shall stay with you. I think it would be best for all.
That's his choice.
We've heard from all but the cat and the priest, since I have no doubt that the young prince would prefer that I remain.
I had not come to that conclusion.
Then by all means, let's hear you as well.
I would rather hear from my subject or my friend, more to the point, what they believe the wisest choice. Because we know the king without subjects who believe in them, is no king at all.
I would ask a question, for I cannot speak my truth directly. Priest, to whom would you be subject?
To whom would I want to be subject to?
To whom would you be subject to within your heart?
I see in the youth of David the choice to do the most good for their people, to grow their society, to inspire hope. And in Malachar, who is a very effective leader. We cannot deny that. Wise in time, wise in experience. But with that kind of experience comes a callousness that does not lead to a place where your subjects will want to live. And I do not think you should return. I think, and I can feel from, and he'll look at the Morgan contemptuously because, well.
Yeah.
She's only a goddess standing in front of you.
I think even in your heart of hearts, you know you belong here with her. I can see the duality of it, I guess you could say.
I would then ask a question, and I would ask it of Prince Melkor. How big is the world?
As big as it needs to be. And at the same time, never large enough.
And what two things stand before you that must be in balance and be protected?
Light and dark, life and death, seelie and unseelie.
And who is best equipped to protect the darkness?
Now that is an interesting question.
Will then you be the Night King and stay behind to protect where there are nightmares, and David go forth and be the Day King and protect where the sun falls and the followers of the new god walk? And when night comes again, will you come?
I believe it can be said that when night comes, I will always be there.
I thought she was going to say come.
Then would it be true that we can trust that you would stay and grow in your power until such time as Prince David, then King David, falls, and we are lost in darkness and we need that cruelty?
As sure as winter follows autumn, my shadow will stretch far across history. I will remain and grow strong.
Then we will wait for you, and with gladness, we will have some hope when winter comes that we will see you again.
I think Primrose would want to say goodbye privately.
And before, we've heard from everyone except Euron, I believe. Did Euron say something already?
I've made myself clear, I think. I want David to come back. I want Melkor to stay.
Maybe
Then
you
I
should
will
eat
turn.
the last-
Pretty simple.
Then I will turn to Malkar. This choice is yours, brother. If you would stay, stay. If you would go, I will stay. The kingdom must have one ruler, not two.
My choice is made. We will meet again.
Shit.
Until then.
Until then.
And so the Morrigan extends her hands to Mailcar and says, "So, is it you who will stay with me?"
I will submit myself to your instruction, great lady.
Good. This is a place of death, which means it is a place of transformation.
Indeed.
And now you will be transformed. And a knife appears in her hand, which she runs Mailcar through.
That's the wrong
brooch. The brooch. The brooch.
Yes, the brooch flashes.
Yep.
He falls to the ground. And the Morrigan says, "Rise with a new name, Mailge."
Oh, shit.
And I rise and spend a glamour to form a mask.
Okay.
No, no.
To Davith, the Morrigan hands a very beautiful star sapphire and says, "This is the symbol of your right to rule. Take it and be well."
He will receive it into his hands. I will keep this in honor and memory of what I have learned today.
And the scene changes again. You are standing in the middle of Cara Travana in the waking world. And that's game.
Dang it! I didn't get to say.
Oh, I'm sorry. What did you want to say? What did you want to say?
I wanted to say something to Malakar before he
Before he got knifed.
Yeah, you have time. What do you want to say?
All I wanted to say is remember your protection and where you come from. And that's
You heard that right, Malakar. Always wear protection.
Not before the knife. Like it could have been.
Remember where you came from. Remember your roots, yo.
Right.
I'll
Straight
be
up
waiting
got
for
Drew
you,
Barrymore
Night
and like scream. Ah. Just straight up,
Wow.
Oh. See, I backed Malakar up to you guys fed him to the wolves. You guys
That was kind
And
of the
I'll
goal.
remember you. I will remember that, Satyr. Oh, yes.
By the way, Primrose, thank you for reminding me that I'm on TV. I'm like, oh shit, yeah, I'm on TV. How the hell am I backing them up?
I know. It's like,
I
dude,
see the
you
realness.
like death, bro. You like it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily a political party. It's more an outlook, but yeah, it made sense.
Yeah, but
so
my outlook looked just like hers. So I was like,
so thank you all for playing. I've been sitting on this reveal for a while. We can probably all now guess who Davith is, will be, become.
King Arthur?
I think that's who I've already been.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's who I've already been. I think it's who I'm going to become in the future that you were referring to.
Oh, yes. We have such a future together.
So who is wait, can you explain though? Seriously, if we're done.
Yes. So it is this is a part of Changeling lore that I really wanted to delve into. Where did it come from? And so in sort of the game setting, there is a war that changelings are fighting among themselves, and King David appears as the leader that the dreaming has chosen. The dreaming has said, "It's you," and Mailge is his rival. And so I'm changing the basis of the rivalry around a little bit because I think the story's cooler this way. But yeah, so if you read sort of the history in the game book, it goes into detail about who these guys are and their relationship to each other.
The Kingdom of Willow's source book goes into a great deal of detail. Well worth reading.
Nice.
Okay.
No spoilers
no, none
here.
of this, but this is cool.
All I know is that it means that if I'm still playing at the point when we cycle around to that part of history, I better be in my unseelie aspect, because I just promised I was going to wait for this guy to come back for when it was his time.
And I'll hold you to it.
A lot that remains to be seen.
Living that
So
unfeeling life, baby.
anyway, thank you all for playing. Thank you especially to our guest stars.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you indeed.
Thank you
This is
very much.
great fun.
Lots of fun.
At,
you very much.
at the end of every show, we like to go around a little bit and talk about ourselves and, promote what we're working on. So let's start with Panda. If you want to tell us a little bit about who you are and what you're up to.
Hi, I'm Panda. When I'm not dressed as a kitty, I'm the National Finance Coordinator of Canada at Midnight, and I'm super excited to say that as well as that Chapter's board game that's an introduction to Vampire the Masquerade getting ridiculously funded on their Kickstarter, our assistants raised $6,000 for their Kickstarter just through our promotions, and because of that, they're giving us an opportunity to add an additional module to their game, which will be coming from Canada at Midnight as an introduction to LARPing.
That's awesome.
Very cool.
Things. I'm crazy excited about this, but
Impressive.
more to the point, the money that we raised with them includes a little bit of help for us. So $300 of that goes to Kane, our national convention in Montreal in June, and I really hope that I get to see some of you there. I'm going to be there helping, bringing you into the story. There's going to be Vampire the Masquerade, the classic kind you're maybe used to if you're watching this. There's going to be Werewolf, the Apocalypse. There's going to be great Montreal magic, and it's going to be the launch of Vampire Dark Ages, a chance if you're a fan of Vampire the Masquerade to tell the story yourself through your domains. So if you're stuck on the same story being told over and over again in Vampire the Masquerade, this is your chance to change things.
That sounds awesome. So this is the Chapter's Kickstarter. Is that still running?
The Chapter's Kickstarter is on its absolutely last day from what I saw. But either way, I'm super excited, and you probably want a copy of that because it's not only a product of Montreal, it's set in Montreal, it's got a stamp of Canadian achievement in it, but it's also part of the family.
Yeah, so go check that out. Donate to the Kickstarter. Harry, if you want to tell us a little about who you are, what you're up to.
Yeah, sure. This will be quicker because I've dropped one thing. So... Well, I didn't drop it. It finished. So I'm Harry. I do a bunch of stuff, a lot here on the Onyx Path. You can find me here 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursdays and Sundays. On Thursdays, it's Little Brook Reunion. Changeling the Lost Chronicle. On Sundays, it's Blood City, a Vampire the Masquerade, Chicago by Night Chronicle. Also, on this show, I feel like I don't need to plug that. I have a YouTube channel, Salubricat, where I give advice on how to run your chronicles, just little tips and tricks, and post other miscellaneous stuff, including a short film I did for a 24-hour film festival, which is ridiculous and fun, and you should see it. Also, I host a podcast, Saratoga by Night, which is a Vampire the Masquerade chronicle. Well, now it's a Hunter the Vigil chronicle, currently set in the Saratoga Valley on the eve of battle of one of the most important battles of the Revolutionary War. And things are going down, so tune in.
Nice.
Sounds like fun.
Tori, want to tell us a little bit about who you are and what you're up to?
I definitely watched Harry's short. It was hilarious. It was great. Super support you. Keep going. Especially with those snowball fights, bro.
It wasn't my choice.
Sounds like fun, though.
Exactly. Which here in LA, we wouldn't know what snowball fights were. So.
I have no idea.
Right, not that I've lived here so long, but no.
So when you throw cupcakes at each other, I don't get it.
Close enough.
Cupcakes, throwing ice cream and frosting that we don't eat, gluten free.
Vegan.
But no. So I am an actress, director, writer here in Chicago. Oh my gosh, in Los Angeles. And And most recently, which I will let Rob Moore take the reins on this, but I Love Champagne came out from us. I want him to talk more about it than I do because he is the director and writer. But coming up in March, we're going to have another new release. It's going to be a She-Hulk short. So it's really exciting. It's been in post-production for, since September, which how things go when you're an independent filmmaker. But I'm excited, and I hope to get even more work out every month now that I live in the land of creativity with all these amazing creative minds here. And hopefully one of these days we'll create more with all you guys, because you guys are also amazing creatives, and I'm excited to be here.
Oh, thank you. Rob, if you want to say a little bit about who you are and what you're up to.
Yeah, hi. My name is Rob Faerie. I am an actor, model, writer, stunt choreographer, pro wrestler, and all-around geek. I basically joined forces with my tag team partner Tori to create Bells of Fury Productions. Like she said, we did drop our first comedy show, which is called I Love Champagne. That was dropped on Valentine's Day. Um, that was really fun. We are going to be creating some new stuff. I do have, I'm going to be actually starting some preliminary work on a brand new um, geek related project that has to deal with a member of the Batman family. I'm not going to say who, but that's going to be really great. It's going to be an action flick to go in the veins of Tori's, uh, She-Hulk film that we're going to be dropping off soon. And on top of that, I do host a podcast called Plus Ultra, My Hero podcast, because I'm a huge My Hero Academia fan. So if anybody wants to talk up My Hero Academia or wants to check it out, my tattoos, the love, always Plus Ultra. So if anybody wants to talk about some My Hero, let's talk about it. Or Death Note or anything anime. I'm a brand new anime guy. So I'm going to be doing some stuff with that. And lastly, Bells of Fury, me and Tori, we're going to be starting a brand new YouTube show within the next couple of months that we're going to be doing some pretty cool things around the Los Angeles, SoCal area. We don't want to divulge too much information, but we'll be dropping it very slowly. And she is playing with Starbuck, named after Kara Threes from Battlestar Galactica. That's my
good
dog.
boy.
Girl.
Girl,
So
the good girl. Oh, so cute.
No, she's a big old boy. I know that head is huge.
So precious.
Yeah, and our guest stars. Jim, if you want to tell us a little bit about who you are and what you're up to.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you for inviting me on. I had a blast with you guys tonight. I've never done anything like this before. So really enjoyed the role playing tonight. I'm Jim Dealing, and I am mostly found at Facebook at the Art of Game Mastery, which is pretty much my catch-all for all of the projects I work on. I am a panelist who appears at a lot of conventions, teaching people how to run better role-playing games. I've been doing that for about 10 years. I've been writing on the Storytellers Vault for about 2 years on a number of large projects. The next big one is working with my writing partner, Jacob Bjornov Plunder. I think that's how you say his name. It's called The Long Road. It's a supplement for Dark Ages, and I wrote the Dark Ages Fae sections in it because traveling while being one of the Fae is very interesting. And I've got several other projects in various stages of pre-production, including work to expand the Dark Ages Fae line out into the actual story it should have been, including I want to run through the entire War of Seasons right up to the Shattering and explain how Dark Ages Fae and Changeling are not two different things at all. So that's one of my big projects to work on in the future. I'm looking forward to working on that with Rachel and a couple of other creators I know. And
oh, that's gonna be sick.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
So, and the last thing I do is I'm starting up a YouTube channel of my own called also found at the Art of Game Mastery, which I call Inside the Game Master Studio, modeled on Inside the Actor Studio, where I sit down with GMs and STs from all around the world to talk about the art and craft of game mastery and how they got better at it. So it hopes to the secrets to running a perfect game can be found in all of us collectively. And all of USTs here, including Rachel, have an open invitation to join me behind the screen at some point. So I would love to have you.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
The first 2 episodes are currently being salvaged by my editor, but for the 3rd episode, we got a fantastic guest. I could not have believed to land this. A mutual friend of mine and Rachel's named John Wick.
Oh, nice.
The John Wick.
Nice.
So for my 3rd episode of this YouTube channel, I interviewed a gaming legend. So can only go up from here.
Awesome. Good job.
I look forward, so as soon as my editor finishes making all that pretty, I'm releasing that to the world, and I look forward to seeing you all there.
Yeah, drop your YouTube link in the Facebook thing. I'd like to take a look at that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And like I said, you could find everything me at the Art of Game Mastery on Facebook.
You know what's
Sounds
funny?
great.
Like when Jim said John Wick and everybody went crazy, I seriously thought it was Keanu Reeves. And I'm like, oh.
If said Keanu Reeves, and it would have been.
Dude, I swear, I was like, what? And it was
Favorite John Wick actually had to disable link sharing on his page because he was getting too many links about the movie.
That's awesome.
That's hilarious. And I love
Yeah, that's why he goes by the real John Wick now.
Yeah.
He insists Keanu Reeves was his choice for casting.
Okay, Amanda, if you want to tell us a little bit about who you are and what you're up to.
Alrighty, well, I'm Amanda. I'm a domain coordinator with the Mind's Eye Society. Pity me. As far as projects, the only thing I've really got going on at the moment is a book devoted to the Nunnehay for Storyteller's Vault. Coming along slowly but surely.
Yeah, can't wait to see that. Let us know. Even if you're not on that episode when it drops, we will promote it for you.
Thank you.
And last but not least, Mike, our priest.
Hi, I'm Mike Leader. I've been getting with Rachel now for 5 years in the local LARP scene here in Los Angeles, and so I was really glad you invited me, Rachel. It was a lot of fun to experience this, and you guys are all fantastic, great characters, good acting. My current project is something that's very, very close to mine and both Rachel's heart, is Aquarius 2020, which is one of the few Changeling Dreaming LARPs going on in the U.S. right now. We've been
Play as Selkie.
He plays a Selkie, the only Selkie left apparently after last game. And the setting is utilizing the BNS rules, but the setting is basically what amounts to nuclear winter for Changelings. Endless winter has come. The Shadow Court rules everything. There is no hope. There is not a lot of glamour, and you're starving. And then one day, some Changelings got a mystical letter that told them where to go, and they found a wellspring of glamour that no one else has access to. And how are they going to save the world from itself? How are they going to solve endless winter, or not?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. If you're in the Los Angeles area and want to explore Changeling the Dreaming more, or want to explore LARP, come play. Tori, I'm looking at you.
I know, like, oh,
you should come.
who could I kill? No, I'm kidding. I'm not. I'm even a good person, but I don't seem like I'm that great.
I'll mention that the LARP is a social LARP, and so no worries about costuming, no worries about having weapons and all of those stuff. No, we're very simple to how we do things. This is a player versus environment story, which I know most folks don't understand. LARP is social LARP. It's PvP. We don't really do that. We encourage our players to work in teams to solve problems in the environment. Now, is there going to be PvP eventually? Yeah, you never know. But our players tend to be have really kind and interesting characters.
I like it. That's awesome.
We're a lot of fun. I'll make sure Rachel gets you an invite to the group.
Yay! I don't live in Chicago anymore.
Yeah. So thank you to all my players. Thank you to all the viewers. Thank you to Harry for doing tech. And have a good evening, everyone.
Yay!
Yay!
Are we clear?
Bye, people.